Hey man, quick question. Are you guys actually good?
What? What do you mean?
Like everyone still talks about you like you're good, but are you?
Yeah, obviously.
Really? I mean, by point percentage, you're what, like 10th in the league?
Dude, it's January.
Fair, but your offense? Bottom half of the league?
Bit of a cold streak lately, but that's.
Special teams, bottom half of the league?
Yeah, there's some ups and downs, but our defense is top 10 in the league.
That's your bragging point?
We won the cup last year, in case you forgot.
You sure did that thing last year. Hey, did you know that you guys haven't won 2 games in regulation back to back in over a month? Did you know that over the last couple of months, you guys don't rank above 17th league wide in any major category? Did you know that if you took the entire league standings from the second week of November on, you'd be 24th in the league? So are you guys good or...
I don't know! Alright? I don't know. Gee, what is the point of all this? Why are you bringing all this up?
Me? Ah, nothing. I just prefer when you're upset and full of self-doubt.
Dude, I just beat you.
Ah, no worries. I'm always upset and full of self-doubt. Low quality fans are a high quality Bruins team. Can we win a game, please? For the love of God, my goodness. It is 3 games in a row with an overtime or shootout loss. There's a point I desperately need to make right away. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. No, a real point. A real point. Guys, Pasta looks stupid in the overtime. Yes. Yes. It ain't an effort problem for Pasta, man. That whole game, he was busting his ass. Yeah, he's gotten a little bit cold over the past couple of games. The dude's effort isn't a problem. There are moments, I get it, there's moments where he's kind of like just shuffling around, but he works his ass off, particularly in the offensive zone. Again, I get it. He's not the problem. You live with some of the defensive lapses because he has been part of 40-something% of our goals this season. I think it's low 40%, which is nuts. This team very much relies on Pasta. You deal with some of the flaws. Overtime, inexcusable, awful, terrible play. We're going to talk about that. But it's not a Pasta issue. He's a weird one to pick out of everyone that, like, he's the problem. You know? I did see some things. This is Twitter. This probably isn't you guys. This is Twitter. About him, like, Felger being right about Pasta and shouldn't have paid him, all this kind of stuff. If you ever say Felger and right in the same sentence there, unless not is between them, buddy, you're wrong. Felger doesn't know shit about hockey. Don't listen to him. Please, for the love of God, don't. Also, Pasta's like a top 10 player in the league, so you pay that guy. You 100% pay that guy. 100% you pay that guy. Anyway, let's talk about this game. Not a ton of game notes. A lot of back and forth, but there's not a lot to really hit you with. The opponent notes, though, there's plenty. Vegas is a really interesting team this year. It's the first meeting of the year. I know we lead up to these and we do the whole Cassidy versus the Bruins. He got the last laugh by winning the cup last year in his first year with that team. I don't think it's a thing anymore. Cassidy won the cup. We needed to move on from Cassidy. Both of those things are true. I don't think that's still part of the aura of this matchup. A lot of people will, but for me, it just doesn't personally resonate. But the Knights themselves this year are really weird. They rank dead center in the league in basically everything. Special teams, scoring, their defense is top 10, but that's not exactly what you'd expect from the defending champs. They have had some injuries. Petrangelo's missed some time. Martinez, Aiden Hill has missed some time, along with a few others. Still doesn't really fully explain their issues, particularly on offense. In the first 30 days of the season, the Knights went 12-2-1, the best record in the NHL. Since then, they've gone 11-11-4, which is the 24th best record in the NHL, which means it's a bad record. by the way. During that time, they ranked 22nd in goals for per game, 2.88, 17th in goals allowed per game, 3.19, and we're talking about a 15-game sample for the beginning of the season versus a 26-game sample while teams are kind of getting things figured out. That team's weird, and they're struggling. There are excuses to point to. Since Aiden Hill's been out, he's played one game in December, but he's been out since the end of November. Their goaltending ranks 20th, which isn't really going to help you. And their shooting percentage since mid-November is 7.36% at 5v5. Neither of those are going to stay the same. And if you're a Knights fan, the good news, bad news for the rest of us, is all of the Knights' underlying numbers are still excellent. They're one of the best teams in the league at suppressing high-danger chances. They're a top 10 team in creating scoring chances. They still outpossess their opponents for most games. They still play a very heavy fashion that allows them to capitalize on mistakes from the other teams. Their finishing has gone cold, and their goaltending is injured. I just think that's kind of it. That team, although they're probably not a 12-2-1 team throughout the whole season kind of thing, but that team is certainly better than under 500 for a 2-month stretch. And unfortunately, they're probably going to show that pretty soon, I would guess. For us, we have some major line shakeups. We have Boquist, Zacha, Pasternak on the top line. Marchand, Cole, DeBrusque on the second line. That seems to have been a steady line until halfway through this game for some reason. Frederick, Geeky, Heinen, JVR, Beecher, Lauko. Bumping JVR down was pretty interesting, and Geeky getting bumped down was a miracle, thank God. Obviously, Lorai, McAvoy, Lindholm, Waterspoon, Grizz, Shattenkirk. Lorai and Grizz would switch spots very quickly in this game and stay that way. We'll talk about that. And then Swayman's going to get the start. He was amazing. Still no Carlo. Carlo has been moved to IR, which means he's not eligible to play again until, I think, Thursday next week. Technically earlier, but I think our next game is that he's eligible for is Thursday next week. Still don't know exactly what that injury is. The Olmark and Patra injuries, neither of them have left the road trip as far as reports go, so I don't know how serious they are still. If they're not leaving the road trip back home, usually that's what they do if it's a pretty serious injury, then maybe they're not as bad as we think. But Brandon Bussey was called up to be a backup for this. I do not know if he's going to get into a game or not because we have a day in between our games, so Swayman might just ride a 3 or 4 game streak here. We'll see what happens with that. What I don't really understand about the lines before we get into this, Boquist getting bumped up, sure, great. He spent some preseason time with Pasternak, some practice time with Pasternak, I get it. Zacha back to the middle, I get it. He's become real ineffectual as a winger, which is kind of against what I was previously saying, which is Zacha's a top 6 winger, not a top 6 center. He actually had a pretty decent game in this one. But DeBrusque's natural side used to be the left side, right? We really haven't seen him there much, but that used to be where he belonged years ago. Why not move your hottest winger up to the top line if you're going to do this shakeup? Now, maybe you really liked Marchand, Coyle, DeBrusque. You gave it 20 minutes, and then you took DeBrusque off that line anyway. Sometimes Monty doesn't strike me as a guy with, like, a feel for it all. And that's such an accusation because, again, Monty blows me away when it comes to hockey knowledge. He will always be smarter than me in that area. But man, some of the decisions I just don't get. Tell you what we definitely do need. We need a wall shakeup. I haven't touched that because I haven't hated the way we've been playing, but we need a wall shakeup. Let's talk about this game. Puck drops! The first period starts and the boys don't start on time, really. They have one great chance. It's a great breakout by Zacha and Boquist to set up Pasternak one-on-one with a defender. Deeks to the defender, gets a chance on Thompson. Thompson makes a huge glove save. We did kind of get goalied in this one. I can't even be that upset. We did kind of get goalied in this one. But this game easily could have been 2-2 after one. It stayed 0-0 throughout. And for the most part, the Knights were the better team through one. We really have not been that team that dominates out of the rip at all this season, which is frustrating. But my next game, though, isn't until about 15 minutes later because it's just been exhibition hockey back and forth, flinging pucks at the net, and the goalies have had to have their share of big saves. which good for them. It was pretty fun to watch. It was just a weird vibe to it all. 4:38 left. JVR is going to go for tripping. We're going to go to the penalty kill. And 21 seconds left of that, Lindholm is going to go for high sticking. It's going to be 5v3 for 21, and then 5v4 for another minute 39. We kill them both off. And that's it. That's the first period. We're going to the second period. Swayman was excellent in that first period. Grizz and Mac got paired together about midway through it, and awesome. They were awesome in that period, which is something worth watching. Because if Grizz is going to turn it on and go back to being that top 4 defenseman, that changes the entire landscape of this team. It was one period. We got to relax. Second period starts. Each team took a penalty. That's it. That's the period. Eichel and Stone would miss a huge portion of it. Very few shots were actually taken. It felt like a track meet back and forth up the ice. There's not things to talk about. Both the penalties were killed. The Freddie penalty was kind of funny because he actually just skated directly into McNabb's stick and basically got decapitated for it. But that's still a high stick because McNabb's stick shouldn't be up and pointing at a player's face anyway. Yeah, that's there was a delay of game call on McAvoy that was clearly off a stick. But I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? The rest are bad. They're always bad. Oh, and one other thing to bring up about the second is that's when DeBrusk got dropped to the third line. He got dropped down. Freddie got brought up. DeBrusk being your hottest winger since Christmas. You opted not to start him on the top line. You did Boquist instead because he had a couple good games as a fourth line center. Which Boquist was fine. He really was fine. But DeBrusk gets dropped down. He's been on fire. What are we doing? And I thought he looked good too. I don't know what Monty saw from him that made him want to drop him down. I don't get it. I don't get it. Third period starts. Eichel and Stone are back on the bench, so whatever's nagging at them, it's not big enough to knock them out. And then 31 seconds in, Thompson makes a save on Zacha and looks like he's hurt. And he gingerly gets up, and I was thinking, man, obviously you never root for injury, but that kid, Savoie, I think, is their backup right now. I don't think he's played an NHL game. I don't know anything about him, but that would be helpful in this where we just can't seem to buy a second one. Doesn't matter. He stays in and he plays the rest of the game. 1:52 in, hooking on Heinen. This call was interesting because nothing happened. The stick was by the hands. It was over there. It was in the vicinity. It was a bad call, which then forced them to make another stupid call because it was so blatantly bad that it's one of those where you go, they're going to try to even this up, right? We know they do game management. We know they do that. And then with 1 minute left of the penalty kill, Barbashev is going to go for tripping McAvoy, and he does. He gets him in the back of the leg a little bit, but away from the puck. This is a play that happens 100 times a game where players knock each other over on accident. They call it, though, because it feels like they were forced to call it because of how stupid the first call was. Because that's how referees work. Anyway, it's going to be 4v4 for a minute, and then we're going to go to the power play. We do nothing with it. Power play was bad. A lot of that was Geeky. Holy crap, every time Geeky had a chance, it was back the other way. That was infuriating. 6:28 in, Heinen's going to go for tripping. We're going to get a penalty kill. And about 40 seconds into it, the Knights set up. They move the puck from the right point over to the left circle. And as that transition happens, Eichel is going to come across the crease. He's going to receive the pass from Marchessault, get a chance 5-hole, and bury it. Lindholm is late coming to the front of the net. McAvoy is attacking that left circle position. Boom. I wonder what Lindholm would look like if he didn't have to play 26 minutes a night. I really do. I really do. Ugh. 1-0 power play goal. And then with 10:45 left, an absolute gift for Geeky as Cotter loses the puck into Thompson, bounces off Thompson, and Geeky's right there and can't beat Thompson blocker side. Huge save by him. About 20 seconds later, interference and Cotter. We're going to the power play, and during the power play, Zacha has a great pump fake. He's directly to the left of Thompson. Has a pump fake on net. Everyone shifts. Opens up a lane to Geeky, who's alone in the slot. Passes to him. Geeky whiffs. Just doesn't even get a piece of this puck. Completely whiffs. Am I harping on this one player too much? Absolutely, but he keeps doing stuff that makes me upset. Power play fails once again. I want to get mad at the power play, but it's been so good for a month that I'm like, sometimes you're just not going to have those games. This whole 3-game stretch just feels like, man, sometimes you just don't have it, and we just have not had it for a couple games. 7:24 left. Great pressure to force a bad clear here. Lohrei is pinching down the right wall. Frederic covering at his point. Both of them play a part in Frederic getting this puck. And Frederic's just going to toss it over to Grizz on the left side, who has space because basically the whole Golden Knights structure is over to Freddie's side. And Grizz is going to take 2 strides in and just whip this on net. Takes a deflection somewhere for, I believe, a defender, and then beats Thompson glove side. Thompson is left-handed, so I raised my right hand to say left-handed. So the glove is on the opposite side, which is always kind of weird to get used to for me. Just don't see it enough in the NHL. It's not like it's a rare thing, but yeah, it always kind of disturbs me a little bit. Either way, yeah, left-handed people disturb me. What of it? Either way, that's Grizz's first in God knows how long, and it's 1-1. And I really want to make this clear. Grizz didn't have a good game because of that goal. You can go back to my Twitter and see me talking about him well before that. Grizz just had a great game. He just had a great game. 4:15 left. Swayman with the save of the game. I mean the save of the game. Save of the year. Excellent. It's a blast from the point that's blocked by Lohrei. Painfully blocked by Lohrei. But it bounces over to Barbashev, who has Swayman beat on his chest. Dead to rights. And he goes to flick it over the pad, and Swayman's scorpion kicks as best he can with that right pad and gets a piece of it. The boys still have to clear it away, but holy crap, what a save. And the game is going to go into overtime, 1-1. And 46 seconds into overtime, the play you'll see 100 times over the next couple days. Stone is skating through the neutral zone. Pasta attempts to pressure him. Marchand pressures a little bit too. And Stone goes right around Pasta. Pasta stops skating. Marchand's still up there with Eichel. And that's just a 2-on-1 against Lindholm. Stone with a great pump fake to get Lindholm to move his stick. I'm not really mad at Lindholm about this. Easy pass to Pietrangelo. Tap in goal. 2-1. If I'm Swayman, I'm ripping that room apart. What a game by that man. And to walk away without the win, without a better set of stats, everything. You're just sitting there like, fuck you guys. What is this? Because this play, I saw some people blaming Marchand. I get it. It was a miscommunication. I saw some people blaming Coyle because Coyle loses the faceoff, immediately goes for the change, as was the plan. Don't know how we blame Coyle here because I'm pretty sure that was the plan. Anyway, Pasta pressures Stone in the open ice like this. First of all, do we think we're stripping Mark Stone of the puck in open ice on a one-on-one? And then he stops skating. Even if Marchand still has Pietrangelo, Pasta, you still have to cover back. You still have to cover a trailer. But not only is Stone on your side of the ice, and Marchand's up by Eichel, Pietrangelo's coming down the right side. Lindholm goes, all right, that's my guy. Pasta's covering no one. This is my issue here. Is Marchand's clearly with Eichel. He's covering no one. I don't know how you really blame anyone but Pasta here. I don't even know why you would pressure in this position. None of it makes sense to me. I get why people are like, well, Marchand, they could have communicated it. If they communicated that, Pasta's still, Eichel can beat him. He's flat-footed. He's stopped skating completely. Anyway, I'd be pissed if I was Swayman. Hell of a game to be ruined just with an awful end. We do have a couple game notes, though, and a couple of them are positive. The first one's not. JVR is not on the fourth line. I don't like him on the fourth line. I don't really get that. He's just bad defensively, so I don't see why we would put him on the fourth line defensive line. You get what I'm saying. I don't get it. I already said what I said about DeBrusk getting dropped to the third line. Makes no sense to me. I mean, the guy's red hot. Why? These decisions that get made, I don't see what they see. I just don't see what they see. But let's harp on Geeky again. He's been a mess on this road trip, and it's killing me. Can we just park him for a game? Just a game. Let him reset. He's had good moments. He's had good moments in the power play. Can we park him for a game, please? Just let me get my bearings back again with this player. A player that I was so happy we signed and now is continuing to just infuriate me at every chance he gets. He's had such great moments too. And yet, I just can't get there with him. Because there's so many moments I just go, Geeky, what the The good news, though. Zacha, one of his better games in a while. So let's see if he sticks at that 1C role again and kind of wakes up a bit. And Grizz, what a game for him. He was great. He was great. You love to see it. You need to see it. and hopefully he can lock in a position with Mac again. Lohrei, his numbers don't look great with Mac, and although I think some of that is how often the top line gets caved, and those guys play with the top line a lot, I do think that him and Shattenkirk have been working better together, so I'd like to see him stay there for a bit, and if Grizz can lock in with Mac, great. Wouldn't mind seeing some Lohrei Wotherspoon for a little while, too. Just really liked Wotherspoon's game. Interested in that. Anyway, guys, that does it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. Thank you again to the YouTube membership members, the program members, them. You guys rock. And I have a 5 a.m. wake-up time, so I gotta go to bed. Go Bees. Go Bees! Thank you for watching, but of course, we've got to give a shout-out to the low-quality YouTube channel members. Need a real name for that one of these days. Starting with the top-line tier, the Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Aaron Adams, Coach D, Just Aaron, Han Slomo, Darren Woodbury, Micro Sausage, Brett Arney, Pincent, Justin Barnard, and Nick Zatrullo. You guys are studs. And then we have our stallions, Abraxion, Hailey E. Coyote, Joel, Jacob Pratt, Jason Ozzy, Bruin Connolly, Tupton Detashi, Jonathan Harvey, DeKingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Doots42, Bruin Smash, and Jeremy. Absolute legends. Thank you guys so much for your support, and go Bees.